Okay, so going back to the question I just asked,
Mhm.
you answered my second one. The one I was trying to ask was, which I didn't phrase very well, was what means were they using to reduce population? Was it abortion? Was it contraception? What were the actual practical,
Sure.
this is how we reduce population ideas
Well,
laid out in the
you have to
Kissinger
look at the
report?
groups they're working with. So
Okay.
obviously it's going to be through types of contraception. So you have to convince people that they are better off with a lower population.
Yeah.
The argument still used today.
So sex education?
So you would use the sex education programs. You would obviously be promoting the use of contraception globally.
Hmm.
As I mentioned earlier, the Kissinger report recognizes that it cannot use U.S. funds to advocate for abortion abroad, and
Okay.
so it realized. So that's why it's using these other agencies to be able to do their work. So
I've also heard that they specifically mentioned abortion as no country has been able to reduce
that's
population
correct.
without
So
abortion.
it's obviously saying it cannot do it directly, but it realizes, as you just quoted very beautifully from the document, that no country has been able to lower its population without abortion. So this is a key element here. And so what do
Okay.
we see now globally in the state policy of today?
Hmm.
So we have under the current administration in the United States, a president and his party advocating for funds to be used,
Hmm.
and nothing to be prevented from using funds abroad as much as they can.
But
And
basically, they can give money to, or like USAID, or they can give
right,
money to the UN, and then the UN can then use that money to promote
correct.
abortion.
That's correct.
So
And
directly, the US isn't funding it, but the US is giving money to an
right.
organization that's going to
And you're
use it.
talking millions into the billions of dollars.
Yeah.
And so, and also working with other agencies, some of them, as we just mentioned,
Hmm.
International Planned Parenthood is still a very active participant in this.
Hmm.
So, to answer your question directly, yes, they promote what today they would call sexual reproductive health, the
Hmm.
rights of women to be able to have access to reproductive health. That's what they call it. It's not health, it's sterilization, contraception, and abortion. This is
Okay.
what we're talking about. And you mentioned India earlier. Yes, we still have very clear issues, which can be a podcast unto itself, with the use of by imposing, upon women, especially after a second cesarean delivery,
Hmm.
to have be sterilized. So this is a very big issue still today that we're dealing with. But when you look at the Philippines, for example, so you want to see what's the fruit of all this?
Hmm.
Okay, well, the fruit of it can be looked at many ways, but I would say, what has the mindset created? So today we have obviously, did the United States create the China's one-child policy? No, China did that. All right.
Hmm.
So the Communist Party did this. But when you look at the Philippines now is below, for the first time, replacement level. In 1965, the average size of the Filipino family was 7 children.
Wow.
Now it's below replacement.
Hmm.
So and it's the United States that's imposed these values upon the Philippines.
Hmm.
So, and not just the United States, obviously other first world nations, in their own policies. We see UK aid working, all over Africa, doing the same thing. We see the issues out of Japan as another example. Australia is another one. New Zealand's another one.
Hmm.
So there are many other so-called developed nations that are imposing this. So the fruit is here, and
Hmm.
and you're realizing that you look at Europe as a whole, all
Hmm.
right, is below replacement level.
Yeah.
So we have an entire populace, not just because of the Kissinger report.
Hmm.
Kissinger report is taking advantage of this moment of time.
Hmm.
And remember now, we got to go back, late
And saying this is how we can
1960s,
use it
the
to
pill.
benefit. Yeah.
You got to remember the idea of legalization or imposing of abortion upon the United States.
And this would have been a year after Roe in 1974.
That's right. So you see, they're taking, and also you have Paul Ehrlich's document in 1968 talking about this population boom. So people, I mean, today I have very dear friends, who are in the latter part of life, who will sometimes speak of this language,
Hmm.
and so yeah, so it's out there.